Hi. So, this is my home setup, not the studio, as you can probably tell. And this is where I have my workhorse, my Kobra S1, Anycubic Kobra S1. And it's been a decent printer at the moment, but it's not perfect. I've gotten it close to perfect by just tuning, playing around with the print profiles and all that stuff. So it prints perfect, but there's one thing that really annoys me. It's the bed. The bed on this is a 2mm heated bed, and as soon as you give it any kind of heat, it tacos. So, I tried reaching out to Anycubic support. They sent me a new bed. There's not much difference, tiny bit better. So I just given up that. Tried using tape and aluminium foil and all that stuff to make it better. I can't fix what isn't straight, because there's no adjustment. There's absolutely no adjustment on the bed. So I have gone the drastic route, which is to yeet this, and I reached out to Funssor. Well, I didn't reach out. I just went on AliExpress and bought from Funssor, and I got a 8mm aluminium bed. So I'm gonna go through and install it and show you how I do that, and we'll look at the results at the end. So I did heat up this printer earlier today. I set the bed to 80°C, the hot end to 140, and then let it heat soak for about an hour. And then I did a mesh. So I have that here. So taco, yep. And so I'll install this. I'll show you how to install it, and then I'll do the same. And let's hope that it is better. So what comes in the package? Well, it's a nicely decent packaged cardboard box. It had reinforced corners with plastic parts. Big thumbs up on that. 2 layers of bubble wrap and insulation. All good. It comes with the magnetic sheet and a silicon heater, 1000 watts, so AC. And the bed, of course, and a little baggie of screws and springs. Now, I'm not going to be using the springs, just because it's using nozzle touch to level the bed, so having springs will negate that, so I'm just not going to do springs at all. I'm going to use spacers. I have them. I'll just do that. So how do I get the bed to be as level as possible? Well, what I'll do is I'll install it, do a bed mesh, and then if I don't like the mesh, if it's tilted in any way, I'm going to use these little spacers that I've made for the bed frame for this guy, and I'm going to adjust this instead of adjusting the actual bed, mostly because this is easier to do than that guy. So let's get started. I'm just cutting in right here. If you haven't, there's a button down there that's called subscribe. Press it. Good. All right, so first things first, let's prepare this before we put it in the printer. Now this comes cleaned. It looks pretty clean for me. I'm just gonna be sure, so I got a little bit of tissue paper and water, and like I touched the top of the dish soap bottle, so there's just a tiny bit of dish soap in here, and that's just gonna release all the grease, or not all, like the little bit of really grease that's left on this plate. So I'll do that side, I'll flip it over and do the other side because we are attaching stuff to both sides. So, alright, that's nice and easy. Do keep in mind this is not my filming studio, so it's not going to be ideal, but it's going to be good enough. Now, here is the top sticker, and I'm just going to tell you right now, there's one thing that annoys me. It's the fact that they did put the thingy-majigs on the back here, but they didn't cut them out of this. So if you just put that on, it won't line up 100%. So I'll just fix that by taking my little knife, and I'll just cut out a couple of small triangles at the back here, and that'll let me get the magnet sheet fully in place as it should be. So these magnet sheets are fairly easy to cut. Any knife, hobby knife will do. So there. So what I did was I just, let's see if you can see that. Yeah, I just nicked off a little triangle right there. Now that lets me slide it all the way back onto these guys. Now, I'm not sure why there's a hole back there, but it's there. Might be they're using this from another setup. I don't know. I don't really care about that hole. Doesn't make a difference. So what I'm going to do is line it up. And once I have it lined up, I'm going to give it a firm hold down with my hand. So I'll line up those two corners, and then I'll put my hand here, and notice my pinky. It's holding so that I know that I'm not moving this. And then I'll start to peel off. Now, my fingers are not meant to peel off stickers. So I'll get my knife. Alright, so I moved slightly, so let me adjust it again. There we go. Peel that off, and I'll peel the sticker down to about down to the holes, and I'll get that down and stick it on. And then I'll lift up, and I can peel, and I'm rolling my hand up and down to avoid getting any kind of air bubbles. You don't want air bubbles in here, so. And there we go. Let's get rid of that. So that is our magnet sheet all done. Now let's flip it over and let's do the heater. Now the heater needs to go in a certain spot. So you'll have the little tabs for the bed. Those go in the back. The silicone heater goes with the wires out the same side as the notches for the bed. So that's the orientation. You'll also see there's a little screw hole right there for the grounding wire. So let's get this peeled off. I actually peeled off the actual silicone, but I'll do the same. I'll pull it off to about the holes. I'll put it down and get it aligned. And then there you go. Now this one's a little bit more forgiving when it comes to air holes, but you still want to get it nice and firmly in place. You don't want this falling off. And there we go. So that is the bed installed. So now I'm going to need to put a little screw into there. I'll just grab that from the one that's on the bed and put that in there. So let's get the printer turned around because we need to take the back cover off. And yeah, let's do that. All right, I got the printer turned around. So what I'll do is I'll take all the screws off and then take the panel off, and then I'll show you what to disconnect. So give me a moment. There's about 1 billion of these screws here. All right, the back is off. So this is the back of the Kobra S1, and what we need to do is we need to get that screw right there off. That'll get this cover here off. There's one more down there. So let's get that one and that one out, and then have a look behind that panel. All right, the panel is off. It was just 2 screws, and now we have access to these wires right here. Now this is the SSR, so this is the solid state relay that controls the bed. Now if we look, here is a yellow and 2 black wires. Those 3, those 2 black and that yellow, those are the ones that we need to disconnect. So I'll disconnect them, and then we'll look at the new bed. All right, so these little connectors are a tiny bit finicky to get out. So I'm just going to show you what I'm doing. So I'll pull the isolation, the sheathing off, and then right here there's a little lever. So if you push that lever down and pull, it comes out. So there's a little bit of a lock. All right, so let's get the other wire, which is the thermistor wire. Now this is going to be extremely difficult to film, but I'll try. So from our little wiring harness that comes from the bed, there is this black wire, and that is the thermistor connector. And it's going to the motherboard, which is way in here. You can take off this panel and get this fan off. It's still going to be a little bit finicky because of these ports right here. But you want to disconnect this one, and then when you get the new one, we'll connect it in the same spot. So just make a mental note of which plug it is. So I'll get mine out of the way, and let's see if I can get it out. And there we go, mine is out. So let's get the bed off, and I'm just gonna, what I'll do right now is I'll just place the new bed on top of the old one, and then get all the wiring done so we can close this up and then work on the front end. So okay, the new wires are in for the bed. Now I know that there has been issues with these being mislabeled, so I reached out to Funssor directly and made sure that I have the right pinout. Now what I also did is I make sure that they will let you know. So what they actually did for me was they sent me a message on WhatsApp and email and AliExpress messages, all the exact same, just letting me know which ones to connect. So for me, it's gonna be blue and red for the heater, yellow for the ground, and the thermistor. So I'm not using the black one at all. So it should be pretty straightforward. Just plug in. Here we go. Now that is in. And now I'm gonna do this on my own because there is going to be some swear words and I don't feel like censoring this video, so I'll get this in. So it's the same plug as you remove the old one from, so it should be, you will know where it is, but give me a moment, please. Alright, I got that in. A couple of words were said. That's good. So now it's reassembly. So put everything back together the way it came off. Make sure you get the screw, or sorry, the wire through this little loop here, and attach it with a zip tie. So I'll show you that in a minute. But what I want to do is get all of these through like that, and then install it. So it should be quite simple. And it should just go together like that. And it did. Alright, now I'll get this on and I'll show you the routing of the wires and all that, and then we'll turn it around and have a look at the actual bed. So give me a moment here. One zip tie in, and make sure we route this wire the correct way. It should go out here, and it's fairly stiff, so, and around there like so, and then there's a little bit of a catch there, so we'll put a zip tie through, and I'm not even mad. I'm gonna leave that in as a blooper. So let's cut that. Get a zip tie, and then put the wire through, and then we'll get the bed wire pulled all the way in. There we go. All right. Bed wire is in. That thing is stiff. Wow. All right, so I'll turn the printer around and we'll look at the bed. All right, the old bed wires are there. The new bed is here, but the old one is still on there. So let's take that off. Now the easiest way for me to do that is just by removing 2 screws on each of the connecting points and take the whole bed off. The other way is to get the 4 screws on the bed. So I'm gonna do the 4 screws on the bed actually. All right, bolts are in, bed is in, we are all good. Now let's go and turn it on, do a bed mesh, and see how that looks. I'll put one of the sheets on, of course. Now remember, because we have changed the bed, we need to do a PID tune. So let's go into the settings, go to calibration, and then go to focus. And then go to hotbed calibration. So, and the printer will do its thing. It'll calibrate the bed, and I'll come back when that's done. It should take about 30 minutes if I remember correctly. So, I'll be back. All right, that was a success. Bed is on, it works. It's flat, yes, but that's not the main issue, or that it's a secondary issue now. That when the bed is homing, the probing itself is actually twisting the entire bed gantry, and when I was dealing with this, someone posted a video that I'll put a link in the description, where he pulled off the heatsink of the tool head and then put 2 washers between the heatsink and the load cell that's doing all the probing, and it seems to work, because here is a mesh that I did before I installed those 2 washers, and then here's one after. It's perfect. So I can do first layer graphics and stuff without failing every other part. So that's a good thing. So as far as the actual bed itself, it's great, but it's not solving the underlying issue. It is solving the taco issue. I no longer have a taco bed, but the real issue here is the bed gantry. It's this part right here is twisting. So I'm gonna see if I can address that. Not sure how, but that might be another project for another video. So that's it. I'm gonna go back to just using my printer, because this one is supposedly not the one that I'm gonna mod, and I just changed one of the most vital parts of it. Well, that's how it is with 3D printers. You can't stop tinkering with them. All right, so that's it for this little video, and I'll get back to making other stuff, hopefully, and I'll see you in the next one.